Hello everyone and welcome back to Ben and Danielle Reviews. Today we are going to be talking about February, looking back at the month of February. It was a shorter month, only 28 days, but it was a pretty busy month, for me at least. I've been working a lot. I've been working about 6 days a week, so I give myself like one day off a week or so, and that's usually the day of the week that I do for filming. I've been doing videos like this. I've been working on Favorite Game Friday segments when I have the time, as well as my top 50, working on that. I did all the way up to from 20 to 11, so still have to do the top 10. So hopefully do that next week if possible. Monday is also my day to do board gaming. If anyone wants to play board games with me, I try and make myself available to do more of a casual fun board game day. I already do 3 board game days per week. I do one at my work for families. That's on Saturdays. I do it down at the game store on Wednesday nights. And then I do Crokinole on Thursdays. And then usually after the Crokinole tournament, I'll do a couple board games then. So I have 3 board game days a week where I sometimes get to play games, but I'm also like running the shop at the same time, especially on Thursdays and Saturdays. And so I don't get to pay my full attention to the games. So there were some games that I played during those times that I wasn't too attentive with the games. But I want to talk about some of the games that I played in February. I played 51 total plays of 30 unique games. Unfortunately, only 6 of them were new to me. I'm not going to talk about all 31 games, or 30 games, actually. I'm going to talk about the 6 new to me games. 3 of them I have in front of me here, and 3 of them are still at my job because I've been leaving a bunch of like smaller games at my work because we don't really have a demo shelf right now. We're working on getting that at some point, but lately I've just been bringing my own games just because I have so many games. They're downstairs and also in the basement as well as up here. But I'm going to talk about those, talk about the new to me games, and I'm also going to talk about the top 5 experiences of the month because while I played some of my favorite games this month, not all of them were my favorite experiences. I'm just going to talk about my favorite experiences from this month. But starting off with the new to me games, the first one is one I don't have in front of me, but I'll put a picture up like right there somewhere of it. It's a little micro game called Avis by the same publishers as Soloween, which is a game I talk about a lot on the channel. Avis, however, is a card game. It's in the same size box as Soloween. You have a deck of cards in front of you. You start out with, I think it's 3 cards, I think you start out with. And then you have a circle around the deck of cards of different color cards. And the goal of the game is to collect one of each of the 7 cards. You win by having one of each of the 7 colors in your hand to win. But on your turn, you play a card into the circle between 2 cards. And if the card that you play, the cards will be numbered from like 1 to 7 or so. Possibly like 1 to 3, 1 to 4, depending on the number of players. The more players, the more cards are in the deck. And you're going to be playing cards into the circle between 2 other cards. And if the card you play is equal to the difference between the 2 cards between it, you get to take both the cards between that card you placed. If it's the number that you played is not equal to the difference between the 2, what you're going to do is you're just going to draw the top card of the deck in the center. And then play goes around in a circle until someone has gotten all 7 cards in their hand of the different colors. It's a fun little game. We played it 4 times over the month. It's a game that plays pretty quickly. It's easy to teach people, and it fits in this tiny little pocket-sized box, so it's easy to break out whenever people just want to play a game. That's why it's a game that gets played, just like with Soloween. The second game from that was another pocket-sized game. It's an Oink game, and that's Deep Sea Adventure. Deep Sea Adventure is a dice rolling game in which you are pushing your luck and trying to get the most treasure, but you don't want to go too far away from the submarine, because if you do dive too deep and you run out of oxygen, then you won't make it back to the ship and you won't get any treasure because you will have run out of oxygen and died. But so it's a really fun game to play. It's really easy to teach as well. So that's kind of a lot of what I teach during my work, is easier to play games because they're just easier to get to the table. So in Deep Sea Adventure, I like how it's a shared oxygen system, so your greed also directly affects other people and their ability to get treasure, because if you suck up all the oxygen by carrying a bunch of loot, then that's more oxygen that you're taking away from other people, so not as far down they can dive. A lot of people that I played with want to push their luck even further, or go further and further down, where I am more than content just getting a little bit of loot and just heading back to the surface after that. That's just something that I don't know. I just don't have that problem with wanting to push my luck too far. Whereas most people I play with, they want to go all the way down to the bottom and try and make their way back up, and they never make it back up, and then they get mad at the game because they went too far and they knew that they shouldn't, but they did it anyway. That is Deep Sea Adventure. The other one that I don't own, this was a friend's copy I played, was Azul Master Chocolatier. It is the Chocolatier version of Azul. Azul is one of my favorite games. It's a great little abstract game which you are trying to build up a stained glass display, but with Master Chocolatier, you have chocolate pieces instead. I personally think that the stained glass version, the original, is better looking, and I just prefer that version myself. But I know that some people like the Chocolatier version. Since I've already talked about Azul, I'm not going to talk anymore about the Chocolatier version. It's just a more complex version because it's got the backside of the factory displays have alternate powers, which you can do if you want to. We didn't play with those, so I can't really talk much about those. The fourth game is a game I've been meaning to play for a while. It is a small little game. It's called Tussi Masi by Elizabeth Hargrave. It is a flower giving game in which you are drawing 2 cards on your turn. You're leaving one face up and one face down, and your opponent has to choose which one they want to take for themselves, and then you get to keep the other one, and then you play till you have 4 cards in front of yourself, and whoever has the most points wins. It's a very fast, easy game that was probably a little too simple for our play group. I think the people that came, they wanted a simple game, but they didn't want something this simple. So I might break it out a couple more times to give it a try, but I don't think the people that played this one really enjoyed it too much, unfortunately. The fifth one was this one, Men at Work. So I bought this game. I had my eyes on it on the shelf at my work for a while, but we had small children that were in the shop, and I totally just forgot to bring games for small children. So I bought this game from the shelf, learned how to play it pretty quickly, and taught it to the kids. So I tried playing it with them. I probably shouldn't have played it just because I was so busy and I was trying to run the shop at the same time. And so I had to kind of keep getting up and helping customers while playing in between turns. And when I did that one time, when later on in the game, I knocked the table accidentally and 7 construction workers fell to their doom. And those kids were less than understanding of that, as some kids, are. So that was my bad for playing in this, but it was a fun experience for while it lasted. It's just a game that I'll have to play when I have more attention, probably not when I'm working, but it is one that I will bring to the shop to teach people. It probably just won't be playing in this game. And last but not least is another one I did not really get to pay too much attention to just because I was busy working, running the shop on a Saturday, and the people that we're playing with were actually pretty understanding of that, so I love them. And that's Verdant. Verdant is a game, the third in the series by Flat Out Games with Calico and Cascadia, which are two games from my top 50. This one I did not get that same love for. I definitely understand what they're trying to go for with this idea. I I like it. I want to play it some more before I really write it off, but it is a game in which you are drafting tiles, drafting cards, arranging the cards in a way to help plants grow and get proper sunlight that they require. And then once they have the proper sunlight, you can put them in pots and score points for them. I liked what they were trying to go for with this. I just have to play it more before I can really give my full analysis on this game. So those are the 6 games that I played for the first time. Now I'm going to talk about my top 5 gaming experiences. Number 5 is one I got to play one of my favorite games and teach it, and that is Architects of the West Kingdom. So this one is a worker placement game in which you are you're placing workers on different spots on the board, and how powerful the effect is based on how many of your pieces are at that particular location. Like you can go and get wood from the forest, but if you have 1 worker at the forest, you get 1 wood. If you have 3, or you get 3 wood, 4 wood. But you also want to be careful because you only have a limited number of workers. And if you have too many workers at one particular spot, your opponent can go to the town center and snatch them up because they're causing a ruckus. And then they can snatch up those workers, hold them hostage, and then take them to the jail to get money for them. And then you have to go to the jail to release them. But I enjoy this game. You're building up your resources, trying to help build the cathedral. There's also the black market you can steal from if you want to, or that you can also rob the tax stand to try and get money that way, but you lose reputation by doing that. Once you're at a certain reputation, once your reputation goes below a certain level, you can't build up the cathedral anymore because people won't trust you to build things. But once you get too prestigious and too high up on your prestige, you can't do these black market things because you're too holy to do so. You have to manage so many resources in this game, so that is always an interesting thing, especially with new players, but I really enjoy this game, Architects of the West Kingdom. Number 4 was a great experience just because of the people I played with. They really enjoyed this game. They enjoyed this game more than they thought they would. They looked at this box and then they were like, yeah, this game is definitely not something that we would like. This cover is not for me. But they got to play this game, and this box was totally different than anything that the cover shows. Quacks of Quedlinburg is a push your luck style bag building game where you're pulling chips from a bag and building up a potion, but trying to make it good with as full as possible without causing it to explode. But it explodes with these white chips. I have the upgraded bits from Board Game Geek. I highly recommend if you're going to buy this game, also buy the Board Game Geek bits for it. Number 3 was a game I taught a few different times, and it's had a lot of success with everyone I've taught it to, and it plays really quickly for the number of players that it allows. And that is a oldie but a goodie. That is 7 Wonders. 7 Wonders is a card drafting civilization game, which you are constructing world wonders, constructing buildings, and getting points based on science, structures, and military. So there are certain people, some people will play and try and get only science. Some people will play and get only military. Some people are very unconfrontational and they will not get military at all. I definitely have one friend that will just avoid all military just because they don't want to be causing conflict. But I enjoy this game. There's so many different strategies you can implement in this game to try and get the most amount of points. I like to do a lot of everything. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I also just like how it's just really fast-paced and for the kind of experience that it provides, and it still leaves you with a lot of opportunities for strategy. That is Seven Wonders. Number 2 is a game that the people I played with really enjoyed, a cooperative experience, and that is Horrified. Horrified, the Universal Monsters. It's a cooperative game, kind of pandemic style, where you're moving around a board, picking up and delivering different items, and in hopes of defeating the Universal Monsters. So we played this one night at a shop late, and we had a lot of fun with it. We had a hard time beating the monsters. It was a really close game, but we ended up losing right down at the end there. And then the people playing is like, I want to play again, I want to play again. And we played again, and the second experience was even better than the first, which I really wasn't expecting with that group, but they really enjoyed this game. And it was nice because a lot of cooperative games, I should say, people can get really competitive with it and can be kind of sort of alpha gamers, and they try and tell you how to play your turns and what you need to do and try and take over and run the game to what they think is the most optimal for playing. Where in this one, we just worked together and had as much fun as possible, and that's definitely was the best way to play this game and gave us the best experience possible. And they wanted to buy this game after we played it, so that's a big win. The final one was another late night one at the shop that we played. It's a really heavy box, and that's the Isle of Cats. Isle of Cats is another card drafting polyomino style game, which you have a boat and you are rescuing cats, and you are drafting cards and passing them to an opponent, and whatever they don't take, that you don't take, your opponent has an opportunity to take and play themselves. And in this, you are building up resources, you're getting certain goal cards to help you win the game, and you are trying to rescue as many cats as possible and fill up your board as much as possible before the evil Vesh, I believe his name is, comes and kills off the cats on the island. So you're trying to just go and rescue as many cats as possible before the end of the game. There's also the Oshaks, which are white, which can be any color, which are really fun. The people I played with wanted to buy the game, and they ended up going out and buying the game after we played it. So that was really awesome to see that people enjoy it that much. I do have the Late Arrivals expansion. That's also why it's so heavy. I bought it because it adds a 5th and 6th player, because only 1 to 4 players out of the box. And with the expansion, you can play up to 6, which is really helpful for someone that teaches games regularly. And that is my top 5 experiences and 6 new to me games I played in February of 2023. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!